Yo, Thought Warriors. What is up? How Learning is on. It is Van Lathan Jr.
And it's me, Rachel and Lindsay.
We'll start off by saying something right now. I'm not getting paid for this, but I plan to pay these people black, and I didn't know how to do it.
Pay them black or pay them back?
Pay them black and pay them back.
Okay,
so I've told the story before. During the pandemic, I was all fucked up. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
My anxiety was getting to me in the holy cold.
It is cold in here, right?
Real cold?
Yeah.
Real cold. My anxiety was getting to me, and I was looking for ways to keep my immune system up and do the whole thing. I was drinking beet juice. I was experimenting with health.
Okay.
And I'm not getting paid for this, but I'm very proud of this business. This is Ruby Jean's Juicery. Okay. It was a small black business that was starting out. It was online only. They were shipping stuff out, and now they have their own storefront. And
wow.
She
Where?
Hit me up. I think it's in. Actually, don't know where it is.
How did you find them?
I can't remember.
Kansas City looks like
it's in Kansas City.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Why was I about to say Long Beach or something? I have no clue.
I'm glad Donnie was here to help.
Yeah. So they hit me up and they sent me some juice then, just as part of they say, hey, try this. This is keep vitamins in you, keep your health going and stuff like that. And I started drinking the juice, the cold pressed juice. Now I stopped after I got better, but they have their own. They're shipping the juice worldwide now. They're growing. They've been able to grow.
That's amazing.
And so Ruby Jeans. I normally put coffee in the LSU cup. But today it's going to be Ruby Jean's Juicery, and shout out to them. This is a pineapple, green apple, carrot, beet. I like beet juice.
I don't, but that looks good.
Oh, daddy. Ooh, listen to that, daddy. Oh, father, daddy, puppy
okay.
father. You know what? The first time I drank beet juice, I didn't realize what happens.
Bathroom.
I thought it was about to go down. I'm not gonna lie.
So, are we gonna have to take a break in this podcast,
No,
or have you been able to control it?
When it came out and it was red, I thought it was Lance Armstrong time.
That too much. When it came out and it was red,
it was red. I thought it was Lance Armstrong time.
Enough.
This happens all the time.
Enough.
It when I started taking the animal pack. When you take the animal pack,
what's that?
Oh, by the way, just one more time, Ruby Jean's Juicery. Very, very proud of you guys. Very proud of you guys. Small black-owned businesses. The blackest CO.
What's that say?
For the shirt, we do not negotiate with racists. Actively black pants, okay, with the Ruby Jean's Juicery, we black owned. And then we got on my feet another black owned company, Nike. Now,
don't ask me to name the stuff I'm wearing.
I know, because
my jeans are black owned.
Who made them?
Half black owned.
Who?
Good American.
Oh, Good American.
Yes, the woman, the brains behind it. She's black.
She black? Yeah, but nah, that don't count.
Damn. Yeah. You're just gonna discredit her like that?
Nah, I guess she gets credit. That's Good American is a biracial business.
Yeah.
It's biracial. So when I started taking the animal pack, you know, it makes your pee really
no, I don't
bright.
know these things.
It makes it bright, almost green.
Well, it's vitamins, right?
Yeah.
So vitamins do that.
I was freaking out. I was like, I gotta drink more water.
You have to drink more water. Yeah, you have to flush it out.
But I drank a lot of water and it was still that way. Anyway.
Well, I had a good weekend.
You did? What'd you do?
Very fun weekend. What did I do Friday? I don't know. But Saturday, girls all got together, went out, Niecy Nash's birthday. It was rodeo themed. It was so much fun. It felt like a family reunion. The music was very much so like that juke joint, kind of northern Louisiana. That's what they play at my family reunion, trail ride music.
Northern Louisiana.
So much fun. They had a live band as well, in addition to a DJ. They taught line dancing. They brought them fans out. Where them fans at? You know, you can't do electric slide, so I know you know the boots on the ground. Okay.
I'm not electric slide.
Okay. Well, everybody was on the dance floor. Yeah. Black Excellence was in the building.
I heard you drank too much?
I didn't drink too much. I wasn't the one. It wasn't me.
Oh, I heard about that too.
It wasn't me.
No, I heard you guys were having fun though, seriously.
We had a really, really fun time. Then we went and celebrated another friend's birthday. And then we just kept the night going. So you missed out. You would have had fun with us.
I didn't miss out because I was experiencing my grandmother's 86th birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
She's actually 87.
Momo, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to her. But I'm saying, like, you would have had fun with this group.
I found the best steak in America.
In Baton Rouge.
In Baton Rouge.
Somehow, we don't believe.
Well, first of
all. What?
Nigger.
What?
There's great food in Baton Rouge. That's the first time. Baton Rouge is a great, great food place. We have
I didn't say it wouldn't. I just wouldn't think steak.
We have the best steak in America is in Baton Rouge.
I mean, it wasn't a steakhouse.
Probably like a Longhorn, Angus.
No, it wasn't.
It's called Doe's Eat Place.
Eat Place?
Doe's Eat Place on Government Street in Baton Rouge. Me, Momo, Ebony, Nita, Uncle Hal, Jasmine, my cousin Jasmine, we all went out to eat.
Mom?
My mom. We all went out to eat at Doe's Eat Place. When you're eating a steak, you can tell the cow is nearby.
How, Van?
Because the steak is not it's both the steak. The steak tastes great, but also the cut of the steak is fresh.
What kind of steak did you have?
We had me, Ebony, and Jasmine split a porterhouse, a gigantic porterhouse. The cut of the steak was like, it was fresh. It was farm to table. Doe's Eat Place. Best steak I've had.
Wow. Okay. How do you get your steak?
Medium.
Okay.
Yeah, medium. My grandmother had it.
Did you do that before you left at Louisiana?
No.
Yeah, same. It was well done.
Yeah.
Until I left Texas.
I came out here and people just got super pissed. They were just like, Van, don't, come on.
It is better, medium.
Well, I'll tell you what. My mom makes a fantastic well done steak.
That I believe.
Because she tenderizes it. She tenderizes it, and then she makes a well done steak. Mm-hmm. I experienced new music this weekend as well.
New genre or new
There's new music.
artists?
I'm transformed.
Okay.
I should say I've been transformed.
To what?
To a young nigga.
Who?
Playboi Carti.
No, I don't believe you. Convince, I know it's not just me.
Mm-hmm.
Convince all of us. Because I don't believe you.
Okay, so this is the
There's no way you listened to this new album and felt that way.
I listened to the whole thing. I want to scream.
You want to rage.
I got the rage inside of me. That's Playboi Carti. And then another nigga come on rapping. Like the Playboi Carti's whole album on different melodies. But people were talking about the fact that they couldn't really access the music. I, for some reason, it put me in a trance. I was feeling it.
That.
And I was like, okay. And then they had some other people show up on it. A lot of features.
They needed to. If that's what we were getting from Playboi Carti, then we needed some other people to try to balance it out, which for me, it still did not.
You listened to it?
I listened to it.
Well, how far did you get? 30 songs. How far did you get?
30 songs, guys, but the entire album is like an hour and 15 minutes. So these songs are like an hour, like 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I didn't press play and listen to the whole thing. Like I went to the ones with features because I was like, let me try this.
How do you know? Because they didn't have the credits on there. Oh, maybe you got
to. They did have the credits.
Not when I was listening to it. There were no credits on there. Oh. So when I first listened to it, there were no credits on there. So you pop up, you'd be like, oh, The Weeknd, oh, Travis Scott, whatever.
No. They on Apple Music. Sorry, Spotify. They have credits.
So, all right, we ain't gonna be on this bitch too long.
Well,
but
maybe if they gave me a free membership, I would join.
Yeah, I don't have a free membership either. Everybody else
make it make sense.
Really got a free membership.
Make it make sense. Maybe I would.
But go ahead. Contractors.
Yeah, so they have the features on that. This is what I'm gonna say. This is absolutely no diss to Playboi Carti. The music doesn't resonate with me.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people are feeling that way.
But it's the first time when I say that, it made me feel old. I thought, well, maybe I just don't get it. Because there's other people who are similar, maybe not as quite as in the lane of Playboi Carti, but like, I like Lil Uzi Vert. I like...
His shit is more melodic, though.
So, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
It seems Playboi Carti's music feels very disconnected, disjointed to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even he changes his sound from... Because who else does that? Tyler does that sometimes. Like, he sounds different on different records. But Tyler's music I'm so into and totally get. I just can't connect to it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's the genius of Playboi Carti. A lot of people like his music. A lot of young kids, a lot of white kids like his music. When I went to Camp Flog Gnaw, he was the headliner the second day. I left. I didn't go see it. I just don't get it.
Look, a lot of people were feeling this way about this album. This is what I'll say. Number one,
it was highly anticipated. So I was eager to, because it's been 5 years. 5 years? Yeah, since he had an album.
Yeah.
5 years.
The name of the album, Music, Spotify's most streamed album in a day since in 2025 so far. Young Thug, Travis Scott, Future, Kendrick Lamar, The Weeknd, Lil Uzi Vert, Skepta, and Ty Dolla $ign. Are you a Skepta person? You like Skepta? You think he's hot, sexy man?
I think he is so fine.
Daddy, okay.
I don't really know his music, but I would go to a concert just to look.
Just to look at him, dripping sweat. I'll tell you this. Do you have freakouts? I think Playboi Carti's music is understood by people who have freakouts like myself.
Like how you wanted me to go berserk on the last podcast?
Yeah, like I have freakouts. And I've been having these freakouts for as long as I can remember. I don't know why they happen, right? But I'll just be like, different things will make me freak out. Sometimes I'll think of like the concept of eternity.
I get it.
And I'll just have to scream for the top of my lungs.
I get that.
Or sometimes, like, I used to have this alter ego, and hold on. Let me call.
I believe you had an alter ego. I believe you had imaginary friends, alter egos.
All of that stuff.
Simply just talking to yourself. I believe all these things.
Hold on for a second. Let me see.
I don't think we need it to be co-signed, because I believe
okay. Well, I won't call, because his name was Joshua.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why Joshua?
Because you'd say it real quick. Like, Joshua! Joshua!
And when did Joshua come out?
And so
when did you discover Joshua?
I can't remember. It was like one time I destroyed Jabril's room. This was maybe like I was like 11 in a rage.
Oh, okay.
When I was like 11 years old, and I destroyed Jabril's room, and then I said that Joshua did it. And Joshua was like a part of me. Like, Joshua has always been there.
Wait, were you gonna call Jabril?
Not Jabril.
Okay, because I wanted that story.
The story.
I wanted Jabril's reaction too.
Well, he got in trouble, and then Jabril ratted me out.
As he should have.
Like, Jabril got in trouble for his room being destroyed. And then he said, Van did this.
And you said no.
Joshua did it. And so then Jabril, I got in trouble. I remember Jabril's mom called. And then they were on the phone with my mom. And my mom was on the phone. And she just looked over at me like this. And then I had to get on the phone and apologize to Jabril and do the whole thing. You're not supposed to do that.
Oh, so we mad at Jabril?
We were definitely mad at Jabril.
You're not going to take no fault in...
You're not supposed to do
in what
that.
Joshua
That told
did?
me something about Jabril. And
well, you're still friends with Jabril to this day.
That's my guy. It's like
so
my brother.
It didn't, so it...
But I
knew
fine. Now that Jabril is not the right guy to like commit a crime with. Because he's a snitch. He snitched. He wasn't supposed to snitch. First of all, it wasn't even me that did it.
Has Joshua appeared on the podcast?
No. And I'll tell you why. Alexa Pro suppresses Joshua a little bit. Before I was on like different medications, I would have random energy burst freakouts constantly. Like constantly. Like just, I get filled up with energy and I have to just run at full speed. Just run at full speed. Sometimes they would happen on the basketball court and I would just run into somebody and just throw the ball at them. And you see? This is where you had it. But the whole point is this. Playboi Carti, that's Joshua music. That's that Joshua music. So I'm in the car and I'm listening to, I'm driving around. I'm like, yeah! And I'm like, I'm into it. Oh, whatever, man.
So it's personal for you. It's not that you actually really enjoy it. It just allows you to tap into Joshua, really.
This is why I used to listen to a lot of System of a Down, too.
Okay.
You remember them?
Yes, that makes sense. Listen,
They're amazing.
I have a restless spirit at times, so I understand the freakouts or the berserk moments. I know I don't show them on the podcast, but I do have those restless moments. Mine are different. Like, I got to get out of the house. Like, I have to get out and walk. I have to turn on some music, but not that type of music where I can just like dance and move around to. I was like restless in the house. Maybe it was Friday. And I was like, I want to play hide and seek. Like, that's
Who'd you ask that to?
Willie.
So that's so freaky nasty. That's like, wait a minute. That's so. See,
we played too. We played for like an hour.
Did. I bet y'all did. Jesus Christ.
Don't turn it into something freaky.
Things
It was
getting serious,
childlike.
huh?
It was childlike. No. I'm just having a good time. Hide and seek. I'm having a good time.
I bet you are. It's good though. I'm glad that you're having fun. Hide and seek would be fun. It would be fun to play hide and seek, not in the freaky pajama way that y'all were playing. But it would be fun to play hide and seek with all of us. We should have every Saturday we should have grown-ups kick games.
So do you know I thought about this for my 40th? I thought about having like taking it back and like us doing a childlike birthday.
Yeah. Did you ever play growing up in Dallas? Did you ever play hide and go get it?
That's freaky. I'm just gonna leave that there.
Baton Rouge.
That's freaky.
Baton Rouge. Hide and go get it.
That's different.
That was so. It was so wrong.
Yeah.
Kids though, you don't know. You don't know what's going on. More music stuff. Kanye West released a new song that has. This is the type of headline that you can't make up. Kanye West released a new song featuring North and Diddy. It's facts. The record is called Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine. It starts with a conversation between Kanye and Diddy. And then it goes into some music, which is actually good. It's unfortunate. And obviously Kim wasn't a fan of this. There was a text message exchange where Kim said that she legally tried to block North being on the same song with Diddy. Kanye is just doing whatever he can do right now to be in people's zeitgeist.
Is that what you think he's doing?
Oh man, I've never seen anyone fight for relevance and attention quite like this. That's that level of artist.
Because I've seen people mention this in this debate on social. You think he's doing this for relevancy. Does Kanye need to do this? I guess that's my first thought when I see that argument being made. My thought is, but does he have to? And if he does want it, why is he going about it in this way? Because it's Kanye. I don't think he has to be outrageous for attention. Despite all the problematic, racist things that he's done, he still has a lot of fans and people will pay attention to anything he puts out. It doesn't have to be this.
Yeah, he's reached nearly guru-like status to where there's a status of celebrity to where people go, they give you literally a godlike status because it's this person has a message, they have a way, they work in mysterious ways. Literally, Kanye's fans think that he works in mysterious ways. This is what I'll say about this, though. The thing that tells me that Kanye West needs attention is the fact that or doesn't need attention, feels like he needs attention. Because remember, what you're saying is something different. You're saying he actually doesn't need attention, which is true. He actually doesn't need to do anything to captivate people. He's Kanye West. However, it might not feel like that to him. See, we know this. We know that Kanye could literally just put out great music and great stuff, and there would be so many people out there that would be relieved. I don't think he wants you to be relieved, though. He doesn't want you to be relieved. He wants there to always be some tension. He's one of those guys that, like, legitimately, and I hate to put this way, but it's the only way I can think to put it. Kanye wants to culturally rape people. He wants you to say no, 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 no. He wants to force himself on you. He doesn't want it to be easy. He doesn't want your consent. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want you to love him. He doesn't want you to want to be there. He doesn't want your consent. He wants you to have to look despite everything. He wants you to not want to do it, but for you to have to do it because everyone else is doing it or everyone else is talking about it. And going back to the attention part of it, the thing that lets me know that is the fact that he's now starting to diss Kendrick Lamar. Because that's just straight up high school girl, 9th to 10th grade jealousy and envy. That's like, it wasn't something specific with Drake. He wrote that whole thing to me, that whole email to me. And when he wrote that email to me, this is after the TMZ thing, he just breaks off into Drake in the middle of the email and talks about how the radio is playing Drake, even though Drake's not talking about anything, and how he's got records that people really need to hear, but they're not getting played because the radio would rather play Drake. So I thought that there was actually some philosophical issue that Kanye West had with Drake. I thought that there was actually an issue to where he looked at Drake as a contagion that's actually negative on music and culture. And he thought that he was a positive, right? Whatever. That's not what it was. It was just that Drake was the number one guy.
And
that's
he was
it.
jealous.
And he was jealous. And you know that now because he went from revering Kendrick Lamar and exalting Kendrick Lamar to saying he doesn't really like Kendrick Lamar, and Kendrick Lamar is kind of whack, which is what he said. I don't like Kendrick Lamar's music. He's a great rapper, blah, 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 blah.
He said he didn't like the album.
No, he said, I don't like Kendrick Lamar's music.
Oh, I thought he said, didn't he reference the album? Didn't he say something like, we didn't need a whole album of this? He's a great rapper, but like.
But he was talking about, that was about Carti's album. We didn't him on this album. Anyway, so, but now we just know that Kanye is just like a jealous bitch.
Is this his Joshua?
Could be.
Is he just like, whether it's for attention, whether it's restlessness, whether it's boredom in his current life? And I'm not excusing anything that he's doing, but I'm just thinking of it in this way. I'll tell you, the song.
It's a good record.
I thought that was Diddy.
Oh, yeah.
I feel so sorry for King Combs.
Why?
I feel like I've said this before on the podcast. I feel sorry for him because he has no identities separate from his father. Even lyrically in this, he's rapping, saying certain lyrics that are from the past.
Right.
He sounds like Diddy. He dresses like Diddy. His cadence is like Diddy. Like everything is Diddy. That was like, oh, I was like, I thought Diddy was just in the convo before. Diddy's actually rapping on the song. It was King Combs. But if I'm Kim as a mother, back to the legal part of it and what's at issue. Yes, the song is good, but it's super problematic. You know, Kanye West was bitching about his daughter being on social media and, you know, being so accessible and out there and how social media was a problem and he didn't want her. And which, not wrong for, she's 11 now, but she was younger at the time. Not wrong for a parent to feel that way. But for you to have your daughter, 11-year-old daughter, on the same track as Diddy with these accusations being out there that are so outrageous, it's the two don't make sense. And what I think about all this is like, yes, we're talking about Kim and Kanye fighting, but I always think about the kids. Northwest is old enough to see and know what's going on. How is this all impacting her? There are 3 other kids. Like if they're not listening to it now or reading it now, they're going to see it eventually. And I just keep thinking, I feel so bad for Kim because from what we see, she does seem to to be trying to protect her kids from the rage, from the antics of their father. But at the end of the day, that's their father. North West clearly loves her father and adores him. And so I feel bad for Kim as a mom because she's trying to balance out her kids having a relationship with their father because they have joint custody, but then protect him from some of the things that Kanye represents or the things that he's doing. It's really sad when you break it down. Like, yeah, we can talk about the song. Yeah, we talk about Diddy on it. Yeah, we talk about these two big figures going back and forth. But when you break it all down, it's so sad for the children.
Maybe.
Not maybe.
Yeah.
It's not? You don't give a fuck.
No.
You don't care about the kids.
I care about them as people, as little babies, as children. But I think that...
But that's the real issue in all of this to me.
Well,
Kanye's grown.
The only reason why I say that, though, is because this is... I mean, I can't care about their kids more than they do. So it's like
one seems to be caring about it in a way that the other
It depends
isn't.
on the way you look at it, right? So, by the way, I don't get into people's parenting. Like, that's a very
I'm not either.
private decision that's made. But it seems like there's a very concerted effort to make North a child star.
Kim is a stage mom for sure.
Right. So then that's the way it goes.
Okay.
I mean,
no.
Okay. I mean,
this is different.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna have, like, you have North doing TikToks and stuff like that with very adult artists like Ice Spice and all of that stuff, where so to me, it doesn't seem like they're trying. And I'm not, once again, just from outside looking in, it doesn't seem like they're doing anything to protect North's childhood. Nothing. It seems like you don't trademark a kid's name, right? Like, it doesn't seem like they're doing anything to protect North's childhood.
That's smart.
Fine.
Because you have people who steal trademarks, who purposely go in there and will trademark Northwest's name.
There you go. If it seemed like if you were trying to protect that,
that is a protection.
Okay, fine. I acquiesce. Legal eagle. Ah! It seemed like if you were trying to protect somebody's childhood, then that would involve protecting their ability to grow and develop as a child, which you would want them to do irrespective of public opinion or irrespective of public scrutiny. Childhood, in my opinion, is from my own experience as a kid, is a very awkward, very confusing, but also very wondrous time. And it seems like whenever you have celebrity thrust upon that, what you get is people who say, well, everything about my childhood was litigated. Everything about my childhood was corporatized, or everything about my childhood was sold. Everything about my childhood was studied. Everything about my childhood was watched. I couldn't have my awkward years. I couldn't have my time just to play with friends. And that's a decision. And that's a decision that they've been making for North for a very long time. So to me, while I understand that a lot of this is unfair to North, or unfair to any kid, forget about North, take North out of it, they've made the decision on both sides, mother and father, to make their child a celebrity. And there's just a lot that comes along with that.
So I'm going to disagree with you. And by no means am I a Kim Kardashian stan. But I'm going to disagree with you because I think that I don't watch the show, so I can't tell you how much North is a part of that show or not. Don't know. So I'm not going to speak to that. But as far as like making her this star, she's got two major celebrity parents. From the moment she was a child, paparazzi were following her around in every step that she did. She was already a star from the beginning. She's their first child. Like, even people being fascinated with the name of Northwest. She wasn't going to escape.
But that was part of it, though. They leaked that name to TMZ.
Okay, that's fine. They leaked the name of TMZ. Fine, whatever. My point is that people were following them. I'm not saying that Kim is not a stage mom. I'll agree. But even North being on TikTok, it's Kim and North together. I think TikTok is a part of that generation alpha, whatever. That is a part of their childhood. When you look at their TikTok, because it pops up sometimes on mine, it's North with her mom. It's North playing with her friends. Yeah, like she might be dancing with a celebrity, but it's North being a kid. Like, North is very much a kid on her TikTok. being on TikTok is a part of that generation's childhood.
Okay, let me.
So it's trademarking her name to me is a protection. And even Kim has said in these text messages, when she turns 18, she gets to own it. That is protecting your child from other people being able to own certain aspects. You see it all the time. Like, even when I was trying to get my name for a website, somebody else bought the domain for it. Like, people do that kind of stuff. So I think it's smart for her to take to be proactive in that regard. North says she's taken an interest in music and fashion. As a parent, that's like me being a child and saying, I have an interest in theater. And my mom putting me in children's theater, which they did not. So if her parents are taking her to fashion shows because she's interested in that, they're able to give her access to that. I don't think that that's problematic. If she's interested in music, I don't think it's wrong for Kanye to put her on the song like he did on the last album. But putting your child on someone who's accused of, has allegations of harm against children is a step too far. And I don't think that anything that Kim has done as far as, putting North in the public allows this.
Okay. So I'm not saying that. I think, first of all, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they're being irresponsible with the way that they're raising their daughter. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that they're not protecting her as a kid. I don't think that you can raise. When I say protecting her as a kid, that means that, like, you can't, and that has nothing to do with them specifically. You cannot thrust a kid into celebrity life, right, in this way and still protect their childhood at the same time. You can try, right? We had a conversation with Jaleel White. Jaleel White talked about how his parents tried. And how his parents tried was to put him into, I think they did a pretty good job. Me and Jaleel be like having our little back and forth. Jaleel's my guy. That's my dude. But they try, right? You try to send a kid to a public school. You try to do different things to keep them out of that, right? Or to normalize them. But at the same time, they're going to go to parties. They're going to be in rooms. They're going to do stuff. They are going to have to assume a certain level of adultness to be able to navigate this, right? You're going to go places and paparazzi are going to scream out Northwest, 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 Northwest. It's not going to be a situation where you can walk up and down the street with your friends and their parents like a kid. You are going to be entered into the thing that adultifies you more than anything else in this world, which is capitalism. So I'll say this last thing. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's daughter pledged Alpha, or she plays AKA, right? What's her name?
Zahara.
Okay. We struggle to find her name. Her parents are as famous.
It's not true.
That person is not famous. That
She's not.
Her parents are as famous as two people can get. They're as famous as two people can get. They made a decision to raise their children as non-celebrities. Then there are certain people who do that, and then there are certain people who don't. Like, I'm glad you knew her name because I couldn't think of it when I was sitting here. There are certain people who choose to raise their kids as celebrities. And then I'm not saying that one is better than the other, but I'm saying that in one situation, just from knowing, you have to kind of, like, North has been entered into the Kardashian Jenner machine. And that's okay. In the same way Kylie was. In the same way Kendall was. In the same way all of these, she's been entered into that machine because that's a legacy and a birthright.
So this is what I'll say against this, about that. One, my question to you is it possible for a child to not be a celebrity, to be protected, if they take an interest in the arts in the same way? The Kardashians are different from the Jolie Pitts because their entire brand is putting their whole life out there. So there's an argument that could be made that it was always going to be that case for the children because, but
Yeah.
I think with North in particular, because I can't name all the other kids, North in particular, she was the first, and then she's also taken an interest in the arts, which for Zahara, I would say, well, what are her interests? For example, the Jolie Pitt kid who dances.
Mhm.
I see her more out there.
What's her name?
I don't know. But I see her more out there. But I don't know Kim's other kids' names either. I see her more. Just because I don't know her name, I could recognize her. I know who she is because she's taken an interest in dancing. So now people are always posting her dancing videos. There's another child who's interested in theater. Angelina Jolie had her on the red carpet with her doing questions. So they're doing things that are more forward-facing. So I guess my thing is it if your child takes an interest in the arts, which that is more public-facing, is it possible for them to not become a celebrity?
This is not necessarily to me about whether or not it's good or bad to have child stars. So many of the people,
that's not what I'm saying.
Right. So many of the people we love now were child stars. Michael B. Jordan was a child star. Ryan Gosling was a child star. They weren't child stars to the beginning, to the level of Northwest. You can make an argument that Timothy Chalamet, who's right on the line, that he got an early start. All of that stuff. What I'm saying is, when you're talking about, and not to belabor it, we can move on, but I'm saying, yes, you want to be this thing, and if your child decides they want to do it, that's amazing. All the advantages, it's great. It's fine. No problem. What I'm saying is, there is a level to that you can't protect them. There's a level of stuff that they're in the story. They're a part of the reality show story. They're a part of the thing. You've made that decision before. Once again, they leaked the kid's name to TMZ. Her birthright is to be in this stuff. Now, I hope that there is somebody who cares whether or not North just gets to play and be a kid and do all of that stuff. But you can't have it both ways. You really can't. Or let me put it to you like this. It's very difficult to have it both ways, particularly when the child themselves doesn't have a distinct and identifiable talent. Meaning, and I'll just be honest with you, if you are an actor, if you are a piano prodigy, if you are this or that, Northwest is, for the most part, famous for being the child of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West.
Who also doesn't have a talent.
Right, which means that her TikToks are going to make her famous. Her saying stuff is going to make her famous. Her life is the thing that makes her famous. And so because of that, it's difficult to protect her from any of this stuff. So they put her out there. So people should be nice to kids.
I also think she wants to be a star, but that's a different argument.
That's cool. But once again, people should be nice to kids. Be nice to Northwest. Be nice to Blue Ivy. Be nice to the other children that are doing this type of stuff. Be nice and remember that they are kids. But at the same time, if you put your daughter on the stage and she's dancing, then people are going to be like, she can't dance. They're going to do that. People are going to be like, she can't dance. I wouldn't say that. I'm going to be like, oh, shit, look at her. And every time I see one of these kids, I think, oh, my God, look how much they look like their parents and blah, 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 blah. The same love and reverence I have for their parents, it goes to the kid. But then it was also awesome to see Blue Ivy once she really started getting it.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, you could argue that, that's a cool little story. But people are going to be cruel. You can't protect them when they're out there.
Yeah.
You can only hope that people have decency, which we know that they kind of don't anymore. You know?
Kind of got off on that one, but
that's whatever. We don't give a fuck. That's what we talk about. Donnie?
Speaking of parenting and celebrity, Anthony Mackie was on the Pivot podcast recently where he opened up about how he raises his kids, and it caused some online fervor. Let me read some of the things he said, and then we can get you guys' take on the backlash. He said, my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Once you get one right, he's going to straighten the other ones out. Then he said, so it's just this thing that in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked. Every night, this alarm is on. You text me or you call me every night before you go to bed. You wake up. I love that because we're men, Mackie said. he also talked about them being respectful and respecting women and opening doors and whatnot. And a lot of the backlash, I think, was accusations of homophobia. Despite that, the fact that on that said podcast on the Pivot, he also talked about how he has a gay brother and he grew up in the 80s and 90s having homophobic views, but he took roles early on in his career to kind of fight that and to learn more about his brother's experience growing up as a gay man. What do you guys think?
Did you see the clip?
Watched it.
Did you have a problem with anything that he said?
I had a problem with what he said after.
What did he say after?
So, if you just watch the clip, I don't think there's anything wrong with what he's saying and how he raises his men to be men and to act like men, and his morals and values of what he believes a man is internally. Are you okay? You spilled water all over yourself?
Why did I do that?
I'm just making sure you really looked helpless for a second. Make sure you're okay.
Spilling the water. Go ahead.
Be a man. Clean yourself.
That's true.
No, I didn't have a problem with that. But then as he continues to talk, he dips into what he also thinks men are supposed to look like. That's where I think he lost people. That's where I think it's problematic. He talks about going to Europe and talks about European men, talks about how they dress. One of the guys says, oh, they in the skinny jeans? And he's like, yeah, you can't do that. Like as if to be a man, you also have to outwardly dress and appear a certain way. That to me is problematic. Not homophobic, but problematic. As if, if you wear this type of, it felt like if you wear pink, you're not masculine type conversation is what it was dipping into. But as far as him holding his sons accountable and teaching them to, take care of women and have manners and take control and to lead is what I was getting. Why is that so problematic? My friend's grandfather, when he was living, used to tell her, he'd be like, these niggas now are half raised. And I will tell you, in dating relationships, I struggle to find men that I feel like embody the type of man my father is.
Say more.
And when I say that is like, I revered my father so much. I love the way he treated my mom. I loved watching the way he led the house, the way he took care of us, the way he treated us like young women, but also encouraged us to, stand on our own 2 feet and to, be independent and not lean on someone, but also but that you can and be soft in certain ways as well. I was like the moment I started to date, I was like, I want somebody who treats my mom or treats me like my dad treats my mom. I want somebody who stands for something, who represents, who takes control. A lot of times people don't think I like that because I am so independent or outspoken. But the key thing is my dad made my mom feel safe. I want to be with somebody who gives me that, who provides a place where I feel safe enough to let my guard down and to be soft. And we've kind of touched on that before. That's what I feel like Anthony Mackie's talking about right here. He's talking about preparing his young man his young boys to conquer the world in a way where they can lead, where they have, just the little things where they're, making women feel safe, where they're taking care of them. And I don't understand why something like that is so problematic. And if it is, then I think that that's something that you have to look within of what offended you about that. Out here dating, I have seen men coddled way too much. And the statements that Anthony Mackie is making here are not coddling men. It's not giving them excuses. I have seen them, in certain ways as women, we do take care of men, but almost like to a point where that's so lost that they expect you to be mommy-like to them. I've seen a lot of that. And Anthony Mackie's statements here are fighting against that. What is wrong with that? Now, I do have a problem with the you got to look a certain way to be a man.
Right.
That's problematic to me. But what he was saying here, why are people offended? Maybe you can tell me something different.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, I think that what people have a problem with more than anything is cosmetic manhood.
Well, that's the part I have a problem with.
Right. But I think that goes a bunch of different ways. Um, I think cosmetic manhood can be perceived or misperceived as a man having to fit into a certain aesthetic to being approached as a man. That then de-emphasizes some of the things that he's talking about, right? Because if a man is about being responsible, providing safety, being accountable, um, uh, uh, protecting, providing, well, then you can do those things in a leotard. Like, if that's what it's really about, right? Then it doesn't matter. You can do those things of any sexual orientation. You can do those things wearing mascara. You can do those things with, a hair transplant. Like, you can do those things anyway, if that's what you're talking about. If that's what it really is. Now, if you're doing all those things and you're still not a man because you don't fit a certain aesthetic or you don't look like the traditional version of a man, that's when all of the rest of these things kind of get intertwined. Like, what is a real man? Some people are gonna say, if you do all of that stuff and you're not with a woman, you're not a real man. If you do all of that stuff and you wear a purse or you paint your nails, you're not a real man. Now, look, I'm not saying that any of those things are wrong or any of those things are doing. I'm saying that when we are actually litigating what masculinity is, Jason Wilson, The Cave of Adullam, DC, his idea of comprehensive manhood, we never talk about degrees of manhood that are different. For example, if there is a safe space for your sons, it has to be a safe space for them to cry. If there is a safe space for your sons, it has to be a safe space for them to emote. There has to be a safe space for your son to come tell you, not just, Dad, I got a D on my chemistry assignment. There has to be a safe space for your son to come tell you, Dad, I'm gay. So a safe space is a safe space to me, where people feel empowered to be themselves and to be who they are and to understand themselves around you. And I think a lot of those things have been muddled, particularly by Twitter 162, 182 character limit. Man, if you do this, can you be this? Right? So when he's coming out and saying all of this stuff, people are saying it's so traditional, it can't be good. Right? I was raised by a man who was pretty traditional in the way that he wanted me to be. He wanted me to be accountable for my words. He wanted me to be able to do things he couldn't do, which was apologize. But there were other parts of me that he couldn't access. He couldn't access the fact that I did not want people to be afraid of me. He couldn't access that, like, he walked into a room and he wanted everybody to be like this. And I walk into a room and I want everybody to be like, "Oh, Van's here. We can let down and have a good time, and Van accepts us all, and Van will protect us no matter what." And he couldn't access that. He couldn't access parts of me that were different. Like, Ebony would have friends that would come over and we would play the game. These guys were gay. Rest in peace to Dominique. Like, other guys that would come over, we would play the game. They were gay. We playing the game. My sister was gay. She had gay friends, and those people would come over and they were my friends. My dad was never mean to these people, but he would always go, why was I so accepting of all of that stuff? It's just because it's just kind of how it was. I wasn't always the most elevated, evolved. I'm not saying that because, me and my friends were as toxic as it came, but I was initiated very early into kind of understanding what people were going through. So there's a lot of that part of it that he struggled with. So what we're really talking about, to me, in this entire conversation when he says this is trying to understand what comprehensive manhood really looks like and what it looks like to actually be someone that doesn't just look and act like a strong man. And part of the imagery that we've gotten in the last 25, 35 years are gentlemen who project strength. They project uh, aggression. They project money. They project all of this, but some of them have a lot of kids that don't see them. Some of them put their family in positions where they could be harmed, right? Because if you're doing all of this work in a certain area and people are taking shots at you, well, they taking shots at whoever you with. Rest in peace to Lil Ronnie and especially to his daughter. But that's kind of what the streets bring. If you are in the streets and you got your little girl riding with you, well, if you a target, then she's a target. And so some people, the way I would look at it is, and the way I do look at it as, is like, yeah, you could be a man and you could be doing all of this stuff, but how safe is your existence for your family? Like, how safe is what you're doing? How much of who you are inherently protects them? And that's a way that you choose to live your life as well. So we're asking all of these questions and we kind of are stumbling on what the answers are, because it's like, sure, is Anthony Mackie raising ridiculously respectful and amazing young men? Probably so. But then is he telling them that they can't wear skinny jeans?
Yes.
And that okay, well, if that's the case, then now he's doing something right, but he's also perpetuating a myth about manhood.
Correct.
And so we're trying to figure out what's more important. Would you rather have a really dependable man that's a little toxic, or have a toxic man that's a little dependable? And we're
I think everybody's a little toxic.
Yeah.
I think everybody's. I think what I hated so much about when he dipped into, a European man. When I'm in Europe, I'm side-eyeing them. It's that I was looking at a group of men, all similar, all Black, all around the same age.
And those are some good brothers.
Not denying that.
Yeah, those are some great
What I'm
brothers.
saying is there was a commonality there, and it's a generational thing. I thought as soon as I watched them, because they were laughing. They were like, oh yeah, better not have no skinny jeans on. Oh yeah. And I thought, that's a generational thing. Like, it's toxic. It's something that has to be unlearned. I wish so bad that one of them would have been like, well, having the conversation that we're having now. And you have to unlearn some of these things that have been taught to them and pass that down to them within the community. And when I saw them all laugh, I thought, oh, we were doing so good. But then there's still a part that's toxic.
Well, we're not going to be perfect, right?
I know we're not, but
I'm just got to continue the conversation.
Yes, but that wasn't homophobic. And like, I know that was litigated a lot on social media, but it was extremely problematic and it had underlying themes.
Well, I mean, look.
I'll put it like that.
The traditional manhood that you like, within, but I get it. But if you get a lot of those guys talking, their manhood was a lot about their nose, what they won't do. Like, I've told you the story about the date before, right?
Man, what date? The date. What date?
How about how my dad told me to pay for a woman's food?
Yes.
You've told me that story, right?
Yes.
But think about what's in there. So if people don't remember correctly, my dad would be like, all right, look, you're going out taking this little girl out. How much you think it's going to be? I was like, probably $30, $45 for both of us to eat. But God bless Baton Rouge, because that was true. And he goes, all right, I'm going to give you $100. When the bill comes, don't even look at it. Just put the $100 in there. If you sit back and you look at the bill and you're like, oh my God, what she's thinking is, are you okay? Is everything okay? And if she's going to ask questions about whether or not, and this is just the way my dad is, I'll just tell you exactly what he said. If she got to ask questions about whether or not you could feed her, she going to ask questions about whether or not you could clothe her. She going to ask questions about whether or not you could fuck her. She going to ask questions about whether or not you could do anything. You just have, there's to be no question, boom, you got it. That assumes a lot. But that's the way he looked at the world. But that thing, that whole deal, it assumes so much about traditional relationships between men and women. Now, it stuck with me. I would rather, like, if you bring all your friends to dinner, I'll pay for all your friends just so your friends go, hey, she's with somebody that doesn't have
and they would.
Yeah, just so your friends go, hey, she's with somebody that's got her held down. I would rather, and then me and you could talk about it on the ride home. Hey, man, look, between us. But in public, I'm only going to show between us, you know, Carol came to dinner and she had like 6 mojitos. All right, don't bring her no more. And then we could laugh about it. But I'm not going in public. I have to show that you're taken care of. But once again, that assumes that women have to be taken care of. That dynamic assumes that women are to be taken care of. And most men that assume that women have to be taken care of and are to be taken care of also assume other roles and responsibilities for women that women aren't always comfortable with.
Not there yet. Yeah.
Okay.
We aren't, we haven't mastered it. And
Okay.
we never will.
Right.
We never will. But for me, I like to know, you framed it perfectly when you said the "you got me" money. I like to know you can do it. I don't necessarily have to see you always do it.
Right. Right. My father was very toxic, but he,
My dad is toxic in ways too.
Yeah.
Like it's a generational thing.
That's why I say.
And that's why, it's interesting talking to somebody younger because I see it. I see the generational difference.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. Donnie,
All right, let's
politics.
shift. Yeah,
Donnie,
politics
not
shift.
saying move on.
No. I felt the vibes shifting, so I tried to shift it as well.
Come on, Donnie.
Trump recently on Saturday, he signed the funding bill and he thanked the Democrats who joined the Republicans to approve the continuing measure. That comes after the Senate passed the bill on Friday, just hours ahead of that deadline. We got 10 senators who joined the Republicans in voting to move forward the stopgap spending bill. Let's go through the senators and then let's get some reactions. Chuck Schumer, John Fetterman, Catherine Cortez, Brian Schatz, Dick Durbin, Kirsten Gillibrand, Gary Peters, Maggie Hassan, Jean Hasheen, and Angus King of Maine.
First of all, I want to say something real quick. And I hope he's listening to the podcast right now. Nick May, you ain't shit. Okay.
He's so messy.
Nick
But
May.
I love him so much.
My brother. Nick May. That text you just sent me here, Rachel, you ain't shit, bro.
No words.
No words. We're not going to talk about what Nick did. Nick May. You ain't shit, dog. All right. Okay. What does this really mean? Okay, so the vote that was had last week was a cloture vote. Cloture expedites this bill and moves it past the filibuster, meaning that they needed a simple majority to vote for the bill rather than the 60% that you'd need to avert the filibuster, which they probably wouldn't have gotten. But I don't know, maybe they would have gotten it now when you look at the fact that 10 Democrats voted yes to cloture. Now, different people on this list had different reasons for voting for this. Let's tell people what this means. Okay, really quickly. This was a vote for the continuing resolution that continues the spending levels of Biden's last budget because the Republicans don't have their budget proposal ready yet. They'll probably be voting on that at the end of the year in September. So this is going to be a stopgap spending bill that keeps the government open, but then kicks this can down the lane until later on this year. It is not a clean CR, what they call, which means that it's exactly the same as the past CR. It is new and different in ways because Mike Johnson and the rest of the Republicans wanted to make sure that some of the philosophical changes that Doge is making and that the president has are reflected in the budget that they are passing. Because if they're not, then they go, okay, well, Doge is doing all of this work, but essentially just refunding all of the stuff that the Biden administration budget would have funded last year. So they had to put some different stuff into the CR. Why is this so important? It's important because this was symbolic more than it was anything else. This was the only, not symbolic, this was functional more than symbolism. A lot of the things that the Democrats can do right now are rhetorical. This is actually one that could inject some real peril into Trump's agenda. Meaning, if the government is shut down, that's a huge deal under an administration. You have a government shutdown that shuts down a lot of things. If you're shutting down funding and payment to federal workers, you're shutting down like wiretaps, you're shutting down funding Ukraine and Israel and a lot of ways like that. A lot of stuff is being interrupted. And it is always a sense of uncomfortability, should I say, for an administration to have a government shutdown. The question is whether or not the Republicans would have been saying, hey, the Democrats are at fault for the government shutdown and whatever ramifications come along with it. And for the people that get immiserated by a government shutdown, whether or not the Democrats would have to wear that in a way that was damaging to not only their policy platform, but to their electoral chances, right? That was the whole thing. If you enter into a shutdown, who gets blamed for it, and how much does it disrupt people's lives? The House Democrats were ready to go for this. They voted overwhelmingly for it, with only one person voting against, voting in not in favor of the CR, or voting in favor of the CR.
One person voted in favor.
Right. They voted overwhelmingly for it. They were pretty united under Leader Jeffries. Got to give them credit for that. Chuck Schumer, who was a leader in the Senate, on I think it was Thursday night, Friday was the vote, came out and gave a pretty impassioned plea about why he was anti-government shutdown. And he talked about the fact that they had bad choice and worst choice. Bad choice was to vote for this CR, and the worst choice was to shut down the government, which is terrible. This basically illustrates a huge rift in the Democratic Party, a party that, according to new metrics, has a historically low approval rating with Americans, a gigantic rift in the Democratic Party about strategy in the way that they fight the Trump agenda. Some are saying we're going to the mattresses, we're going all out, we're using any lever of power that we have to fight this. Some are saying that we are making legislative choices that are based upon what we think are good for constituents. And if that means empowering Donald Trump, Mike Johnson, and Elon Musk, we will do that because the other option is much worse for our people. There are certain people on this list that I kind of understand the reasons why they voted the way they voted. Brian Schatz of Hawaii. A lot of federal workers in his district in Hawaii, tremendous amounts of them. And maybe he's hearing directly from his constituency that they don't want a government shutdown. That's me being very generous to him. Minority Leader Schumer should be primary. And the rest of the people that are here should be deeply, deeply, deeply criticized and put under a tremendous amount of pressure from the party because they're not getting it.
Gary Peters is not.
I get it. They're not getting it. They're not understanding where people feel like they are and where government currently resides. They are up there doing business as usual on the Hill. Well, when we are looking at it as a blood feud for the near present and far future of the country. Most people who caucus with the left are empowering the Democrats to go to the mattresses in order to stop Musk and Trump. There's uncertainty in the market. There's uncertainty on the world stage. I had a youngster ask me if Japan was going to get nuclear weapons. I'm like, why are you asking me that? And they're like, I'm asking you that because I saw that if the United States decimates their relationships abroad with traditional allies, that those allies might be forced into nuclear proliferation. And if they are, that means a new arms race because they can't depend on the nuclear deterrent from the United States. That's a far off Van Lathan 1991 type of concern. However, we're looking at concerns from people all the way up from the economy right in front of them to foreign wars to the deportation of people that they share their communities with. We're looking at a complete destabilization of American life and a new domestic order, a new world order, all crafted in Trump's image. And the Democrats, at least the Senate Democrats, don't seem to get how people who have empowered them feel about that. That's what this vote signals to me. That's what this vote signals to me. The Republicans, look at the way that this goes. Trump is tariffing people, tariffing nations. He's trying to change the financial realities of America domestically. And what does he tell his people? He goes, he won't rule out a recession. He won't rule out economic hardship. And he says, hey, there's going to be a transition time. Things might be hard. Things might be hard, but in the long run, they're better with me. And he gives them that message. The Democrats say, if things have to be hard, we can't do it. If things have to be hard, a government shutdown is going to be so hard that we can't do it. If things have to be hard, we can't do it. Like we can't, there's no way that a fight is supposed to be easy or without pain. No one is telling them that we're not willing to feel a little pain. No one is saying that. No one is saying, hey, do the easy thing to do. What people are saying is, in this case, sharpen your sword and nick somebody. Pinch, kick somebody in the shin. And they don't have the backbone to do it.
Yeah, it definitely signifies that. I completely.
Stop down. It's allergy time. Look, guys, it's allergy time. I'm in hell right now. I don't take any of it.
Well, that's what saved me.
Okay, go ahead.
As a person.
I apologize.
I agree with you. Everything you're saying is right. Trump and his administration have completely, or the Republicans in the Congress, I should just say, have allowed them to completely take away their legislative power. And the Democrats had an opportunity, what little power they had, to fight back or to at least show people who vote in the same way that they do that they're willing to fight, to your point, and that we do have legislative power and we're going to use it. And instead, they jumped on board, or those 10 did. And the one. To me, what it also shows is that Chuck Schumer and people who, the 10 senators we talk about and the one representative in the House, are more concerned about their public image and the idea of looking like, of holding on to the old school traditional value of, we're trying to all get along, we're trying to work together. They're more concerned with that than they are with the long-term effects that the Trump administration is going to have on the American people. And I think part of that is because they are older and they know that their time is limited, and maybe they just don't feel like they don't have to, but they're so stuck in the past that it's almost like it's blinding them from the future. What they're doing is normalizing the behavior of the Trump administration and the Republicans. By them voting in that way, they're saying it's bad, it could be worse, but you're normalizing it. What happens the next time this comes up? Do you now put your foot down? Is that too much? Or do you continue to normalize it because you keep saying a government shutdown is so bad? We've seen what Trump and Doge have done so far with cutting things that seem to be more related to a cultural war than actually doing things that are, cutting the budget because they're trying to allow they're going to extend the 2017 Trump tax benefit, tax cuts, and some more. So they're trying to offset it, but they're doing it by cutting things that have kind of been a back and forth between the Dems and the Republicans, rather than actually making cuts that are going to really balance things out and allow and take some relief off the taxpayers. Them allowing them to, because even what they're proposing, there's going to be cuts funding for healthcare, cuts funding for veterans, cuts funding for nutritional assistance to children and families. They're voting for that by jumping ship on the other side. And I just don't understand. I have yet to see an explanation. And I read the opinion piece that Chuck Schumer put out as to why he was going to allow this to pass to avoid a government shutdown. I still am not seeing anything that is so convincing that shutting the government down is worse than voting for this, which was a completely partisan.
Keeps Trump's agenda on track.
It was completely partisan. It had no input from the Dems, what they're trying to move forward. And they've already cut so much and are going to continue to do that for things that affect the American citizens and people and Democrats. So I don't understand still, after reading everything, after listening to how these senators decided to move this forward, I'm still not understanding how it's worse. Both are going to hurt. But I don't understand how it's worse. I'm not convinced. And I feel like the next time this comes up and we're at a standstill again with the possibly facing a government shutdown, what's to stop them? At what point do we say, this is enough, we're going to use our power to fight the government shutdown? I don't get it.
I'll say this real quick before you move on. We'll get maybe a little deeper into this on Thursday. John Fetterman, just put a suit on and join the Freedom Caucus. I'm sick of the grift. I'm sick of the bullshit. You make me sick, John Fetterman. Put a suit on, join the Freedom Caucus. Donnie, make sure you clip this. John Fetterman is the biggest fucking phony that I've seen in all of my time of poorly following American politics. I've never seen someone dupe and mislead a constituency as much as John Fetterman did from the time that he was running to who he is now. It's a gigantic fucking phony. And he is emblematic of what's wrong with the Democrats. If you get rid of the Fettermans in your party, then you'll be better off. He's essentially Joe Manchin Jr. at this point. He makes me sick.
I just want to talk about something because a friend brought this to my attention, and it just really made me think that when it comes to domestic violence in our community, I just don't feel like it gets enough media attention. And I just feel like we don't talk about it as much as we should. And I don't know if that's a form of I don't know the underlying issue. I don't, like, even in my family, there's history of domestic violence. I didn't learn about it until I was much older. I'm sure out of having respect for those individuals in my family, that maybe they didn't want me to look at them a certain way, but protecting and not talking about it keeps perpetuating it, or we normalize it, right? Talked about this in a different topic on the show. We normalize these behaviors and we allow it to continue. Recently, there was a murder-suicide in Fairfield out here in California. It was a soror, young. She was shot by her husband who she was trying to leave, right? She was leaving him, told him she wanted to separate, shot her, shot himself. 3 kids, now orphans, wards of the state. I don't know the history of it or whatever, but I just want to bring it, like, it really made me think we have to talk about this. And if there's signs, or if you know somebody who needs help, maybe they're listening to this podcast, maybe you share this with someone else. Donnie will input here, like a hotline you can call, reach out to someone. We have to not keep it a secret. We have to talk about it. We have to protect each other and recognize the signs when there is domestic violence, because we have to prevent lives being lost, children being orphaned. It's just, I see it more and more. The more I talk to my friends, they have stories of a friend whose mom or maybe that friend went through it. And it's just a conversation I still feel like we're having enough.
I agree. Very well said. This is what I'll say. Well, part of this has to do with what I think are conversations that are not happening between men. And let me tell you what I mean.
Between men?
Between men. Women, and this is a gross generalization, you guys check up on each other. to a degree sometimes that makes me uncomfortable. But like you guys will see, from what I've seen, the women in my life, should I say, you guys will see a friend doing something that you think is wrong, and you'll be like, hey, you deserve better, you should be doing better, you should do something, blah, 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 blah. Like you guys are always, the way I would say, in each other's business, if you think that there's a reason to be there. A lot of times with men, we stay out of what's going on in another man's family. We stay out of what's going on with uh, another man's situation or household. Not as much with the kids. If we see you treating your kids, or the kids will say something, but between men, what's happening between men and their women, we typically will, or at least the way I was raised, will stay out of people's business. They fight and they go get back together, whatever, whatever. I think manhood now needs to be a challenge. We talked a little about this with Anthony Mackie. You have to play some away games. If you're talking about manhood and keeping society safe, keeping women and children safe, you have to play some away games, not just home games. You're going to have to get involved in the lives of young men that aren't your sons. You're going to have to get involved in the protection of families that aren't yours. Because the only way to have this conversation is to have it outside of your household. Because there has to be, should I say, a societal and cultural understanding of, one, what abuse is. Two, what someone who is suffering abuse looks like. And three, how we get people out of abusive cycles. Or else it goes on forever and we never get a conversation to really wrap our arms around it. Man, if you care about community, if you care about culture, if you care about the advancement of Black people, you have to care about family violence, violence against women, violence against children. It's a part of it all, because once that gets injected into someone, once someone is the victim of that, it just changes the way they approach life and the way they approach living. So it's incredibly important.
We'll put in the notes a number or website to be able to report domestic violence and seek help. And then also we'll put in the notes the GoFundMe of to support the children who just lost both parents.
Insane. Bring Ian on. Look, we've been talking a lot about R&B, you guys, okay? And I realize I don't know shit about R&B. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything that I said and everything that I did. Ian wants to come on and talk about R&B. I don't know anything about R&B. I want to ask Ian whether or not he thinks LeBron James is on PEDs too. Bring Ian on right now. I don't like this is an impromptu crossover. Can we talk R&B podcast and higher learning with Ian Von Spooner? Ian Von is his name. Bring him up, Donnie.
What's up, guys?
Ian, what's up?
What's up?
Hi, Ian.
Hi, Rach.
Hi,
What's
Ian.
up, man?
So, me and you had a conversation about R&B. I've said some things that you think are wrong. First of all, tell me the ways that I've been wrong about R&B music.
Yeah, first I just need you guys to just stop, okay?
I have not been that bad, Ian.
Damn.
You worse.
It's been bad. First of all, the one take here, D'Angelo is not neo soul.
Yeah.
Like what?
That's Van. That's all Van.
I said that.
Yeah, that was definitely Van. Let me say this. R&B music is like a field, right? A field of flowers. It's so many different subgenres and different, styles of R&B, progressive R&B, neo soul, standard R&B, hip hop, it's so many different things we can name it. It's all of the bedrock of, Black music and whatnot. So it's hard to really categorize and separate it. But like Van mentioned Kenny Lattimore. Kenny Lattimore is not a neo soul artist. He is an amazing R&B artist.
First of all,
the same thing.
First of all, this is what I'm saying. A lot of people hit me up. Antoinette, from Around the Way Curls, which is one of the, it's the leading biracial podcast in the world. There's several biracial podcasts out there. Shout out to all of them. There are a lot of biracial podcasts out there. Around the Way Curls is one. Horrible Decisions is a great. I love.
They changed the name.
They changed the name. Was it now? But Weezy and Mandy know how much I love them. I love them.
Yeah, shout out to Mandy.
Weezy and Mandy know how much I love them. They have changed the decision to just rebrand. They're moguls, but very, very important biracial podcasts. Antoinette and Panic Face, they do a fantastic biracial podcast over there. And she got super mad at me because she hits me up and she goes, "How could you say D'Angelo is not neo soul?" I didn't look at neo soul as that. When I was listening to D'Angelo, it was like 95, right? It was like 95, 96. I had people that produce on D'Angelo albums hit me up and go, "Van, we coined the phrase neo soul for D'Angelo. He's the father of neo soul." I was looking at neo soul as the people with their heads wrapped and they walking around the park in Philly and they singing and they doing all of that stuff. So when you tell me...
The fact that you reduced it to that,
please
explain,
Absolutely.
Ian.
First of all, neo soul means new soul. So we can go all the way back. You think about...
First of all, neo soul means new soul. Nigga,
look,
I know what neo...
But you don't.
You may not know, but you're informing the audience incorrectly. So we think about Tony. They are really like the fathers, if you ask me, neo soul. It wasn't necessarily called that specifically, but that's what they were doing in the 80s and on to the 90s. Rest in peace, Dwayne Wiggins. So that, and that come all the way from the 70s to the Al Greens, the Curtis Mayfields. That's all soul music that evolved into what we call neo soul of the D'Angelos, the Maxwells. Fast forward to the Music Soul Childs and so forth, the Indie Iries and all the rest of those amazing artists. So it's hard to, when you just be blaring stuff out. You know what I mean? I tell y'all all the time, you guys know R&B music, holla at your boy.
Okay.
Holla at your boy.
All right.
You can talk about R&B music.
Okay, who's the neo soul artist now? Like,
I would say someone like Cleo Soul would be, she's from the UK. She's an amazing soul artist. I would say Alex Isley is an amazing artist. She's kind of neo soul. These are all just soul artists doing progressive R&B, alternative R&B. So that's all under that same umbrella of neo soul. But artists like that, I would say.
But you told me on the phone that Tony invented New Jack Swing.
Well, I didn't say they invented it.
Liar.
What I mean is, no, listen. Teddy Riley coined it as he's the name New Jack Swing, but they came out at the same time. Tony's first album was like 87, 80.
You said Tony, and then I said, I thought Teddy Riley invented New Jack Swing.
And I said, listen to what I'm saying. I don't believe Teddy Riley invented New Jack Swing. I think he coined it. He's popularized for it. And he is, obviously, Teddy Riley is one of the greatest of all time. He's popularized for it, but there were a number of different artists and producers at that time doing that swing. If you really want to keep it a buck and go all the way back for the historians out there, that swing sound, that boom, boom, check it, the boom, check, that comes from James Brown. So you go, these beats and rhythms, they used and they sampled in the 80s with electronic sounds, and that's how you got the hip-hop beats over those type of swings. And they called it New Jack Swing. So you can play a Tony album from 88, 87, 88. It's the same time Guy comes out. It's the same thing. And they just didn't call it New Jack Swing.
So then who is your Mount Rushmore of neo soul?
Oh, great. Yeah. Who?
Ooh. Well, I would say my favorites, I would say D'Angelo. I would say Maxwell. I would definitely say Indie Irie, and Erykah Badu.
Okay, we got two right.
So no Music Soul Child.
Can you talk on that?
Listen, Music Soul Child is amazing. And honestly, he probably has the best first three album catalog out of really all of these guys. Like, it's arguable. That's an arguable thing. He had an amazing run. I was at a Music Soul Child show last year in LA, and it was sold out, like with a bunch of young people, and they're still singing all the songs. So it was amazing. So I do love him. He could be on someone. He's not on mine. I would say he would be like number 5 or something, maybe 5 or 6. But my top four, Mount Rushmore: D'Angelo, Maxwell, India.Arie, Erykah Badu. And if you want to put Lauryn Hill, she's kind of hip hop, R&B, soul, she's kind of wrapped up all in there. She would be my number one, but she's kind of, multifaceted.
So what makes
Yeah, I
something?
don't consider her neo soul.
Who? Erykah Badu?
Of course, Erykah. She's on my Mount Rushmore.
He
He said
said
Lauryn
Lauryn
Hill.
Hill.
What?
I'm saying that's she's packaged different, but I hear you.
What makes something neo soul? What does neo soul even mean? Because I don't even think I knew what it meant. I thought neo soul was.
You didn't know what it meant. You need to say that.
Was bright colors and all of that.
And head wraps.
Head wraps.
What?
Because it was.
That has nothing to do with the music. That's an aesthetic.
Soul life. Because all these people had soul in their name too. Music soul child. It was all. There was all. Neo soul became something. By the time I was on it. I didn't know it was neo soul. I never would have thought Maxwell was neo soul. I put Maxwell with Kenny Lattimore.
No, you gotta listen to early Maxwell.
Van thought neo soul was women with hair all over the place, not grooming. Wild. That's what Van thought.
I never thought that was. See how we just said about the sisters? We're gonna talk about what you put in the group text that time. You want me to bring that up?
No. Okay. Let him live.
Relax.
Okay. We're gonna talk. All right. Look. First of all, real quick for Rachel, what's my alter ego's name?
Joshua.
I wish he would have named somebody else. Joshua. Wait till you hear the conversation about Joshua.
We talked about Joshua earlier.
Yeah, stay away from Joshua, Rachel.
Sadly, I think I've come into him a couple of times.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, stay away from Joshua. Do you think LeBron James is on PEDs?
Ooh, honestly, man, he's on something. I don't know what he's on, but he's on something. I can't say that, but to play the way he's playing, and I mean, he is, in terms of the athlete, he's the greatest athlete we've seen on the basketball court in terms of longevity and all of that. I have him in my top 3, and he would be number 3 on my list, but he might be, man. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Like,
a lot of people are wondering whether or not LeBron's on PEDs right now. I just wanted to throw that in.
Let me ask you, we talk about Playboi Carti at the top of the show. Thoughts on the album? That's where Joshua came out. Joshua likes to listen to Playboi Carti.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't heard the album to really give it a real opinion just yet. I'm not that big a fan of Playboi Carti anymore.
Anymore? Why?
Yeah, I used to like him, like the earlier stuff, like, woke up to niggas talking like me. I used to like that. You know what I'm saying? But like now it's just too far for my taste.
Yeah.
For my taste, yeah.
What about that SV Haley? You fucking with him? I fuck with SV Haley. Shout out to
SV Haley.
Shout out to my nephew.
Shout out to SV Haley.
SV Haley, that's Gino's son.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. He's a rapper?
Yeah, he worshipped the devil.
Does Gino know?
Yeah. Yeah, SV Haley. SV Haley was worshiping the
devil. Bro. Shout out to SV Haley. He's a talented artist.
Picture?
You want to see? We'll put a picture up of SV Haley for everybody. Go support my nephew, man. He finding himself. But like Sammy Davis Jr. worshiped the devil, but then he came out of it. It's not, it's not like
I thought he was Jewish.
He worshiped the devil for a little while. Sammy Davis Jr. did.
Wait.
He did.
I mean,
I need a biopic.
There's redemption for him. There's redemption for him out
SV
there.
Haley already said he don't do that no more. But for a second, he was worshiping the devil. So shout out to SV Haley. The music is good though. Like, if you want to spend some time with Beelzebub.
Oh my God.
Before we go, I want to ask you about, because this made me start listening to some old R&B because I went back. And so I did a whole Mint Condition retrospective.
Yeah.
Bruh, nobody's really fucking with Mint Condition, bruh. Like, in a real way.
Mint Condition is amazing.
Mint Condition is not just good, not just great.
Amazing.
Mint Condition is a bunch of musical gods, bro. I listen to Mint Condition all weekend.
Stokely, the lead singer, is literally in a lot of people's top 5 male vocalists.
Oh, just singing? You send me swanging?
Yeah, that dude can sing his ass off.
Okay, we're about to go. give us a little mint condition before we go for the people. Sing a little bit for him, Ian, because Ian. So this is I want to say this real quick to all my homies out there, to Tank.
Oh God.
To who else? To PJ Morton. To all of my homies out there that I know that are singers, right? Ian Vaughn from the Can We Talk R&B podcast says straight up, he is the throat goat of R&B. He's the best singer.
Stop.
He said he's the best singer.
The throat goat.
That's Ian's. So I want y'all to go under Ian's.
Did you coin that term, Ian?
Ian said he got the best pipes. He got the best pipes. So Ian is hashtag the throat goat of R&B. So y'all gotta go under Ian's shit on Instagram and go hashtag throat goat.
Let's shout out
Throat goat of R&B. But Ian says he's the best singer. So Tank, all of them, everybody. This is the best singer in R&B. Ian, give him a little something to prove.
First of all, that setup was crazy. I denounce the term throat goat. That is crazy.
Right.
That is crazy. Second, no, I do not think I'm the best singer out of all these guys. Everybody you just named, I am a huge fan of.
He's a liar.
You know, you guys know who Van is.
When we off the podcast, I'll ask him and he'll be like, yeah, I sing better than these niggas. So what? This is the gauntlet. Anyway, this is the gauntlet. Listen, give your best melodies right now. We're going to put this on the gram. And we're going to start, I've always wanted to start this. We're going to start a singing war. A war of singers. Okay? Like, give them your best little runs right now.
All we're going to do is this. Like, I'm not, this is not a singing contest. And these guys are amazing. It's, we're not going into that. I will say this. Tap into the Can We Talk R&B podcast. I do appreciate y'all for having me on. And, this is an awesome opportunity just to really, for all R&B lovers. My show is a R&B love letter to R&B fans. So we have great conversations with amazing R&B artists, singer-songwriters, producers, contributors to the culture. And, can we talk R&B?
See?
Just like that.
See?
He's up there.
He's
okay, Ian.
Hey, Tank. Fuck you, nigga. That's what Ian just said. Shout out to my homeboy Tank.
Man.
Ian just said,
man. Big love to Tank.
Fuck you. He can sing better. We can come out here. We're gonna do that podcast. Ian Spooner, the throat goat of R&B. Hashtag throat goat.
Bro,
the best pipes in the game.
Ian Vaughn Music. Go follow him.
Ian Vaughn.
Go follow
him. The best throat in R&B.
Oh my God, that is crazy, bro.
I dare you right now, in your bio, to put the best throat in R&B.
You know what?
Ian, go. Ian, go.
Yeah.
Go. Bye.
Hey, you know what? Hey, this means war. This means war.
Bro,
officially.
I'm proud of you, bro. I love the podcast. I saw the interview with Case is up right now. It's been going viral. Case is one of the best.
We just released our 50th episode with Estelle. And
nice.
Friend of the podcast.
Yeah, and then we've released the 51st episode with Simone Joy Jones that plays on the show Bel Air. So yeah, I mean we have a lot of amazing talent on the show. But Van, you out of line, bro. I'm gonna call your mama on that one.
You come on the podcast, you come in person next time you're in LA, and we're gonna share some embarrassing stories about Van. Like you can tap into some things that nobody else can. We're going to do that.
Yeah. So just to let you guys know, the throat goat is coming in person. That's what Rachel said. All right. We out of here. Take thin caps off, but do not stop learning. Ian Spooner, the throat goat of R&B.
It's tough to be your friend.
You don't understand what these niggas have done.
Well, we're going to learn when they come in. I want a whole we're going to have a whole player-proof podcast.
Yeah. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good, but you don't understand what they've done.
All right, well, we're going to learn.
They've put the disses out. They've put the drive out. And by the way, that's not a drive. That's me supporting my friend who has one of the best music podcasts out there that is
it's incredible.
Like, that's me supporting my friend once again. the throat goat of R&B. All right? Love you, Ian. Take the caps off, but do not stop learning. I'm Van Lathan Jr.
I'm Rachel and Lindsay. Bye, guys.